Hey, you guys. Today I'm interviewing Hey Shayla. She's an awesome YouTuber and a new mama and just amazing. We had a really good talk about her experience doing elimination communication with her first baby. So enjoy this interview. Please subscribe and hit the bell. I'll let you know when the next video is up. Enjoy. Hey, you guys. So today I'm interviewing somebody, again, totally out of form, but I am so excited about our guest today. Her name is Shayla Christine. You can find her at Hey Shayla everywhere. I was doing some homework for my YouTube channel because I'm a good student and I'm trying to make it past 13,000 subscribers. It's just ridiculous that I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube. So I was like, cool, what's everybody else doing on YouTube? And I came across Shayla and I realized, so she did an episode on EC and I was like, oh, cool. This woman does EC. And then I watched it and she's like talking about my book.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have you on the podcast. So welcome, Shayla. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. And I told you this earlier, but I was stoked that you reached out to me. I was like, the Andrea, the EC legend wants to interview me on my EC process. This is so exciting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're both like, ooh, I got fangirl stuff.
Yeah. Fact.
And we were talking about how we moms need other human beings desperately. So it's so cool to be able to be on together. And Shayla is starting or has just started a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it also Hey Shayla?
Yeah. Hey Shayla. I would like to keep it very simple.
I love it. You're so predictable. I love it. Although I know you're not predictable.
Yeah.
I love about your channel. So you guys definitely drop everything and go onto YouTube after this podcast and check out Shayla. Because she has I just find you really funny. And I like the way that you talk about mom stuff. And I also love the surprise of being pregnant that you shared with your partner. Like when you got pregnant, can you just share with our audience who hasn't seen that, how you told him that you were
Okay, so I just announced my second pregnancy. So are we talking about probably the first one in a booth?
The first one, and then let's do the second one.
Yeah. So I found out because I was doing the natural method. And mom was like, that's a good way to get pregnant. And I was like, no, mom, I've got this figured out. Well, I didn't.
Pregnant 2 times by the natural method.
Yeah, she was right. It is a good way to get pregnant. Yeah. So that happened. And so we went to a cafe and I was like, I'm just going to pretend like I'm having him watch this video for me quickly. Cause he used to proof my videos and be like, this part's boring. This part's great, whatever. So I'm having him do it. And it's like, so I'm on the natural method and now I'm pregnant. What do you think, Seth? And his face drops and he is mortified and then he absorbs it. And then he is excited. And anyone who gets that news, me, when I get that news, it's like, whoosh. Can we say the SHIT word?
I mean, we can, well, now all the toddlers listening are going to to it. Thanks, Shayla.
Oh, okay. Well,
I probably have cursed on the podcast.
I kind of felt like that was, yeah.
That's who I am.
But that's how you feel when you first find out you're pregnant. You're like, well, some people are like crying ecstatically. Some people are like, oh, here we are. That was me. So unfortunately for him, I got it on film and he was just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, yeah, here we go.
Oh, surprise. I love it. You guys, she showed him a video of her telling him that she's pregnant, pretending like it was just a YouTube video she was putting up, and filmed it, and they're at a cafe or something, which is public.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, he was pretty shocked. Check it out. But that video got so much flack. Like people were like, she trapped him. He's not excited. And he's like, why are people saying that? I feel like I'm really excited. And I was like, yeah, it's because I caught you. Like most people when they find out and they're not expecting it because I was on top of it. I was doing the natural method. I knew we weren't going to get pregnant. Mm-hmm. So
Did you just learn your lesson? Oh, but wait, then you got pregnant again. Was that one also a surprise?
No, that was very intentional because I was breastfeeding so exclusively that I had to night wean to get my period back at 13 months. And then was like, okay, let's start trying. And that was, I overshare all the time, but I ovulated on day 30. So I was waiting for the next period. I was like, okay, I haven't got it yet. And then I was all of a sudden on day 47, I took another pregnancy test and I was like, okay, now I get to surprise him again because
you're like, I'm so fertile. Now next time you know that it'll be very easy as well.
Yeah.
I think it happens sooner each time. Even while I was breastfeeding, like with my fifth one, I was having my ex-husband now. I was like, okay, you have to get a vasectomy because I literally cannot handle any more people saying my name.
Yeah. I don't want a chorus.
Yeah, it's like this is a huge chorus. So I told him, you got to get a vasectomy. He's like, okay, I'll get a vasectomy. He delayed and procrastinated and finally scheduled it. He got it 6 months postpartum with Twyla, and I was still exclusively breastfeeding day and night. And then seventh month comes around, and I had my period again for the first time.
Weird.
Barely missed. Yeah, and so a long time ago when I had my first, and this is important for everybody listening, please know that this lesson is very important. I met this woman who was in her 60s at a festival when my first was born, and he was a month old, and I was like, yeah, I'm breastfeeding, so I'm not going to conceive again, it's supposed to be bulletproof. And she goes, oh no, I had all 5 of my children. I conceived at 5 weeks postpartum, and I was breastfeeding day and night. That is not true. Everybody listening, do you hear me? You can get pregnant even if you are breastfeeding day and night.
But I don't know what's more shocking there, that you can get pregnant breastfeeding day or night, or that she got pregnant at 5 weeks postpartum.
Every time for 5 in a row. That's like massive.
That's like 5 Irish twins.
Irish quintuplets.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Have a drink of water.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now, you guys all tune in to listen about EC, and we've talked about some other things that I think are very helpful for you, or we wouldn't have shared them. Yeah. Okay, it's meant to be. Now, I love this, and so you told Daddy about it for number 2. How did you do this one?
I pretended like I was doing a TikTok, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a dance, and you're going to copy me. And so I did shimmy, 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 go. But he was late from work that day, so he got home late, and I was like, can you do this TikTok with me? And he was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I know, I wouldn't ask if I really didn't need your help. And he was like, can't you do it by yourself? But he got it together. And if you watch this video, he shimmies like he means it. And he is just, he was a trooper. So then I did the 70s move where you put your hand down by your hip and then up in the air. And I grabbed the pregnancy test out of my pocket and handed it to him. And he didn't see it at first, but then he saw it and he was like, wait, what? I thought, and I was like, I know, I don't know. Yeah. And he was like, and he was just so excited. So yeah.
Yay,
yeah. I was glad that I got to surprise him.
Oh my gosh. Those are so creative. I can't wait to see what else pops up on your channel. So tell me though, first, so obviously your channel wasn't about parenting when you started it. It was about travel vlogging, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I started traveling full time in 2015 and was just, my friends were like, you should start a blog and talk about where you are so we can keep track of you. And I was like, I don't like writing. So no. And they were like, oh, well, video. And I was like, I guess I could try video. And I just committed to doing it once a week. And mostly it was just to nobody in the beginning. I'm just posting and my grandma's like, that's really cool what you did this week. And I'm like, thanks, grandma. And then I had to learn all the YouTube things. And then when I became pregnant, it was COVID and pregnancy and all the things. And I was like, I'm not traveling anytime in the near future. And I'm momming pretty much full time. So I'm just going to hard switch to momming, and just did it and jumped. And everyone's trying to get pregnant, getting pregnant during COVID right now. So my audience was just like, okay, yeah, cool. I just had a baby too. Or new people would come on. It was babies. The perfect time to switch to mom content.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I love it so much. So you and I have a lot of similar mom parenting habits and styles. What are the things you do? You exclusively breastfeed. What else? What other hippie?
Floor bed.
Floor bed.
Floor
bed. Cool.
Yep. The EC, the cloth diapering, all the weird.
Baby wearing.
Yep. She didn't like it a lot, but the second one better like it, because I think that's the only way you survive when you have more than one, is just to wear them constantly.
Wait, you're pregnant right now, right?
Yeah.
How far along? Wait, when?
Halfway, 21 weeks.
Halfway. That's so awesome. I know. Okay. Be sure to let me send you some stuff, okay? Because Tiny Undies, as you guys all know, we have all the things. And I'm sure
I just stocked up on the tiny trainers, and she loves them. She's like, undies. But she pooped in them the other day, and that's not my favorite thing.
Not easy to clean up.
No, but that's the only one I've had in the past month. Oh, and anything, in diapers and nothing. Yeah, so I'll take it.
Hallelujah. Okay, so let's cover this now. So how did you hear about EC?
I think one of my followers was just like, oh, you're a good cloth diaper. You should EC. And I was like, what the heck is EC? And so I looked it up and then I found you and I was like, okay. And I got the book and I got the potty and I got, what else did I get? I don't remember. I used like should I just go into it? How I all
Yeah,
started?
go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm reading the book and it's like, look for cues. And I was like, cues? What are you talking about? But also when she was a newborn, I would watch her just like her nose would start to turn red and she would kind of like bear down and then she would empty herself in her diaper. And I was like, well, that's kind of a cue, I guess. But it's so overwhelming when you first bring this baby home. So I was like, I didn't start cloth diapering for a while. I didn't start EC until 4 months during the 4-month sleep regression. So I was like, forget it. We're stopping this. I can't do this right now. And then I restarted at 6 months and it was actually Seth. And I think he just didn't want to deal with poopy diapers because he's like, let's try that again. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got like a waterproof crib sheet and I put that on the floor and just like watch her, but she was already mobile. So I'm like trying to keep her on this crib sheet and she's running around with no diaper on. And I'm like, how do people do this? What does you mean to look for cues? Like, oh, they might be like not moving and then they squirm or they might squirm and then they stop moving. I was like, I can't do it. So I didn't look for cues anymore.
Good.
I was like,
at 6 months, you guys, like that's really actually wise. Good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to quit. I was like,
I know.
I can't do this, but I'll try these like transitions. I'm saying it like quoting, like, this is crazy. This is your information. So then it's like, try these transitions of like, when you come out of the car or after a walk or after a nap or after you feed them or any transition time, boom, that was it. Like I was catching them like crazy. I was like, okay, breastfeeding. When I would breastfeed her, that's when she would go. I'm like, so I've got the potty as I'm breastfeeding her sitting on the floor and I'm like, hey, we did it. We caught one. And it's, yeah, it was. So the transitions were super helpful. And I wasn't trying to potty train, which is kind of what you say. You're just like, you're the one who's getting trained. You're trying to figure out when this baby needs to go potty to help them out so they don't have to sit in a wet diaper or poopy diaper. So it was very low stress for us. So when we missed one, I was like, no big deal. We'll change the diaper. And since it's cloth anyway, we'll just throw in the wash. No big deal. And when we caught him, it was like a celebration. And yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of how it started. So we started. Yeah. So there was kind of a couple bumps in the road, but we were like, okay, we're just going to keep trying and seeing what we find. And then we'd find something. And then again, you say this, like they'll go on strike and they're like, not doing that anymore. So we went through the strikes of not doing it and just consistently kept doing it. And then she got over the strike and then we kept going. And
that's called staying the course. Like you just go, you start as you mean to go on. You're like, okay, 4 months we're starting. And then we have little bumps and you just kept at it. Well, when Seth intervened and you guys started again at 6
and I'm glad that he did. Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah, that's awesome. It even happened with my second. Like at 8 months old, I was like, we aren't even doing EC with her at all. I am a fraud. I should be fired. And sure enough, we both were like, oh, okay, let's figure this out. She started signing. She was just waiting for us.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. They're waiting for us. And then you have to find out what works for your family. Are the signals going to work? Is natural timing, like how often do they go? Some people can never figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, nope, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Transition times worked for you. And everybody listening, like if your baby doesn't signal or you don't know their timing, it still works.
Mm-hmm.
You just look at you just stay creative and stick with it. And if you stick with it, you're just offering. You're not forcing or pressuring them. You're just saying, no, we're actually going to continue to do this. Just like we're going to continue to breastfeed. We're going to continue to make sure you get naps. We're going to continue to clothe you. It's literally that simple.
Yeah. And it is just offering. And even now, because the transition to, I was actually going to ask you this. We use like a toilet seat now. Like it was a hand-me-down for my nephew. So it's like a little Paw Patrol thing that sits on the toilet. Yeah. That was a game changer because I could flush it all down the toilet.
Yes. Oh, you don't have to dump and wash a mini potty or a top hat.
Yeah. Yeah. So she knows though, because I'll be like, do you have to go potty? And it's always no. Unless she can't tell quite yet between farts and poops. So you'll hear her fart a couple times and then she'll do one. She'll look at me with big eyes. She'll go potty, potty, potty. I'm like, oh, this is the one. So we go. But as soon as I put that potty, the Paw Patrol potty on the toilet, if she says no, I know she doesn't have to go because I used to put her on it and she would just sit there or like squirm off of it. But if I put it on and she stands there and waits for me to like take off her diaper, I'm like, oh, okay, we're going. This is it. And then I set her on there.
How old is she now?
19 months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thanks.
That's my judgment for you.
Well, good.
My positive judgment. How has the experience been for you so far? Like, would you say that it's overall been positive, negative, neutral? What do you think? And what's
I think it's been great. I try and tell people all the time, and I tell people exactly kind of what I'm saying. Just try it. And if this doesn't work, then try something else. If this doesn't work, try something else. I tried to give it to my neighbor. My neighbor was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, yo, you keep cleaning your poopy diapers. I don't care. I'm just saying, this is great. Aaliyah likes it, especially with cloth diapering, because they do cloth diapering. The EC cloth diapering combo is like money.
it makes so much sense. Why would you love doing that, like cleaning the cloth diaper
Right.
poop off a cloth diaper?
Right.
You're actually supposed to clean poop off of a disposable too before you throw it away.
Oh, what?
That's what it says on the packet. You're
What?
supposed to dump it before you throw it
Makes
away. Does
sense.
anybody do that though?
No.
No. Nobody does it. But with cloth diapers, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And like if you're cloth diapering and you're like on the fence about doing EC, just do it. Babies, would you say that your baby kind of like synced up with you and
Yeah.
was like, cool, I'm on board?
Yes. And I read that in your book is like babies don't want to sit in their poop, just like how you don't want to sit in your poop. And I definitely felt that way. Like, cause even now she'll tell me, change it, change my diaper. And I'm like, you know that you're peeing in it. Or she'll tell me after she goes. So she'll be like, potty, potty. And I look at her little tiny undies and they're wet. And I'm like, okay, you're getting it. But now we need to know before. Right. Yeah, right.
The order that happens naturally. So daytime, are you guys out of diapers? Are you in undies full time during the day now, or what?
No, we're doing cloth mostly.
Okay.
And because I got the Black Friday sale, so I just got all the undies.
You got all the undies. You're equipped.
Yeah.
You've been doing great. So what is holding you back? And this is the reason I'm asking Shayla, is because I like to ask everybody this. What is holding you back from stopping using the diapers during the day?
Just committing. Like that's the plan. Now that we have these tiny undies, because how many would you recommend having? I have 9. I feel like that's not quite enough.
I usually have a dozen, but 9 is great. 9 will get you started, and then you can also go commando in between. Like if you run out of underwear for the day, just put them in pants or put her in pants with no underwear.
Totally. I like the tiny undies, everyone listening, because they don't get all over the floor. They're not waterproof, but they are contained.
Oh, the tiny trainers.
Yes, the tiny trainers. Yes. That's amazing. And so that's what
here's the thing. Like if that is all that's holding you back is just committing, and now you've got the tools, you guys, Shayla is gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. Can I
daytime diaper?
And I'm on board. And I think it's mostly like you have the babysitter over, and then they have to kind of be on track. And it's if I have the energy now that I'm pregnant to like stay focused and like do the thing. So I'm definitely on board, and I'm like equipping myself with all the things that I need to do. And then it's like weaning, breastfeeding. You're like, yeah, we're going to wean soon. Yeah. Yeah. No, husband, I agree. We should probably wean. Yeah. Okay. And then like one day you're like, okay, this is the day we're doing it. Or like this Friday is the day we're starting.
Yeah. It's almost as random as that. Like I just need to set a date. And
yes, exactly.
I'm going to do it on December 31st. And that is it. New Year, we will have no more diapers. Whatever it is. Just, it's awesome. And your baby rises to the occasion every time. It's amazing.
I believe that.
Literally is up to us and us going, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm having a hard time. What works for me and what doesn't. Now, I do want to share with the audience that if your baby is like totally using the diaper as a toilet and like really prefers that, if you get to that point, that's when you know you need to stop using those daytime diapers immediately. When they start to relax into it and go, oh, I'm just going to use this because it's on me, which generally is a boy thing, I have to say. But they're like, ooh, a tool. I'm just going to use this tool. And a lot of husbands are like that too. They're like, let's use the tool as the toilet instead. And it's like, no, you're going to mess this up. But that's sort of our little cue as parents to go, okay, we need to stop using these diapers. So it can be at 11 months. Some people do it at like 9 months. Some people do it at 14 months. But it doesn't matter as long as it works for your family. That's the most important thing.
Well, and that's the goal is by the time this next baby comes, which is 24 months. So we're getting there.
Oh, you're going to be so fine.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of how I feel too. But okay, question.
Yes.
No, we've always said like, oh, you did it. You went potty, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like, okay, we're old enough to say good job.
You can say good job if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not in the beginning, right?
Like
it's like the intrinsic, extrinsic motivation.
So I do think, what do I say? Yeah, I don't say good girl. I say good job. There's a difference. So you're saying you're making a judgment about them as a person when you say
Mm,
good girl or good boy, like you would with a puppy. Like with
right.
my puppy, I say good girl, because she's a dog, and that's just fine.
I'm not
she's,
going to hurt her
she's
lifetime self-esteem.
I know I'm not going to
Yeah.
ruin my dog's self-esteem.
Yeah.
And she's one, she's fine. But with a baby, we can say good job and you did it and awesome and that was great. Like we worked together, go team.
Yeah.
But saying good girl or good boy is what I stay away from. So I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit. And
Mhm.
just having been an experienced mom of 5 now, where I'm qualified to give advice on pretty much anything baby because I know better than I did when I had one.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But basically, yeah, it doesn't like, I don't care if you say good job from the very beginning at this point. What I do know is like what's behind it. What are you trying to communicate with your baby? That they are good for doing it or that was great teamwork and we did it.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
say what you mean. And if it comes out like that sometimes, who cares? Is anybody
Yeah. But
watching?
she, well,
Nobody.
and
Well,
now,
maybe you're filming it for YouTube, so people are watching. But most people, nobody's watching.
true. Yes. Well, and because every time she pees, I go, yay, and I clap. So now she pees and she goes, yay. I'm like,
Yay! Oh,
that's
she's
right.
the cutest thing ever.
Oh, is it so weird? I love watching her poop faces. That's so weird.
So
She
fun.
like grunts down and gets this like red nose, and I'm like, you're the cutest thing in the whole
Okay,
world.
so at graduations and weddings for all 5 of mine, I'm whipping those photos out, man,
No.
because they're the funniest ever.
Oh, that's
And
so
and
funny.
hopefully, I've heard that there's a way, like if my kids work for me on any of my stuff or my business, that I can pay them tax free and invest that money. So I'll just be like, I'm sharing this picture, and here's $1,000,000.
Yes. Yeah. Your photo has been on my website for the past 18
Compound
years.
interest. Here you go.
That's
Here's your
that's a thing. I've talked to accountants who's like, if your photo's on the website, you get to pay yourself as a model income. And you're
I
like,
mean, come on, why
what?
not?
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so the experience has been positive. You got another
Yes.
baby on the way. Your goal is to be out of diapers by 24 months. And remember, at night, you can still use a backup. And again, nobody's watching unless you are just telling everybody about it, which is
Right.
fine. Sometimes having people watch or know about it, it's like an accountability partner. So cool, we can do that. I do want to know how did EC jive with the other ways that you have chosen to raise your baby? Like with sleep, have you noticed any kind of impact with nursing or sleeping or baby wearing or any of that? Or has it been pretty cohesive? Like, hey, it's just a part of what we do.
I don't know that I understand, but it does feel like
Like
the second
disturbing,
part.
has EC disturbed sleep? Has
Oh,
EC made
okay, so
breastfeeding
we never
harder?
did it at night
Okay,
because I was always afraid I was going to wake her up more.
exactly. Right, right. Smart.
Is that okay? I don't know. I was like, but I felt it felt very cohesive because kind of my approach was like connection, understanding, communication. We did sign language, we did all of the things, and it was just co-sleeping. Everything was just like, okay, we're a team. It's you and I. We've got this. Like I'm gonna help you fall asleep, even though I'm not sleep training. We're doing that and I feel good about it. We're gonna nurse to sleep. We're gonna do the breastfeeding thing because I feel like and it wasn't this huge bond thing, but it was like, I am doing this for your health. And it was
Oh, yeah.
all the things this was just added on of like, this is just another way that we connect, another way that we communicate, another way that I try and help you and understand. And it just, everything that I read in your book made so much sense of just, this is what other countries do. This is not that bizarre. I don't know. It just,
Yeah, it's natural. Like it's some people call it species specific. So like we're going with the way our babies operate and work. Like it's just a natural and organic way of raising a baby, but it's also responsive parenting. So you're basically like, "Hey, what do you need?" Okay, cool. I'm the
mhm.
one who's supposed to help you do that. And you're
Right.
not doing it for them, but you're doing it together.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys should definitely watch her channel. I love the way you cover things. This is just like, "Hey, we're just going to be real here."
Yeah.
And this is what works and
Well,
this
and
is
I think that's what's important is like, because if somebody reads a book and they're like, "Oh, I tried the cues and it didn't work for me, so I quit." Like, no, you don't have to quit. Just don't do that. Try something else. And that's why I do try and be honest because it's like, yeah, this was really hard at first, and then we did this and it made it easier. Or this, I just like, I don't know, like that. I just try and be honest about what happened so that people don't feel like they're a failure if it didn't work the first time. Like,
Because so many
No.
people are like, oh, everything's great. And here's a day in the life with a newborn. I'm like, what? That's a
I
day in the
know.
life with what newborn?
And how do you I can't do a day in the life. I've tried it
No.
before and I'm like, do you just have your camera with you all the time and then you just like I don't know.
I know.
Kudos.
Hey, whatever. At least
Yeah.
that's out there. You don't have to do it. This is already done. So what would you say is the one thing that you've done with your EC practice that has made like a huge positive difference? If you could think of something that you guys have done.
Positive difference with just overall.
With well, yeah, overall or with the pottying part, like what
I do think that when we switched to transitions, it really started to flow.
that was
Like it was like every single morning when she first woke up, I 90% of the time I got the potty. And when we would come out of I did it outside one time and I was just astounded that she like peed next to the car. But like there was if it had been a while and she was still dry and I was like, okay, well, we should try and potty. And then she would go. It was just the transition times that really made everything click.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, I kind of have an idea of when we need to do this, or if there is no transitions because it's my first trimester. We've been watching TV for a few hours. Like now, yeah, now we need, yeah, exactly. Let's try and it's just to keep introducing with no stress. Yeah.
It's just like the routine. You're basically
Hmm.
pegging it on habits you already have. I'm already
Yeah.
gonna get out of the car to go in this place, so let's try.
I need to
And
feed
also,
you.
yeah, I need to feed
We'll
you,
try
and
after
I
that.
just want you to not fuss for a little while, and like so I can watch this show and veg out for in front of Netflix because I'm pregnant. So we're gonna
Yeah.
go potty right now so we can relax for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It can be as selfish as that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Well, so where can people find you? Where are you on all the things?
Hey Shayla on everything. So Instagram is where I am daily, just like on stories,
Okay.
talking about random stuff. The podcast is what I started because because I have this following. People send me people, and I start following you, and I start following this person, and then I reach out to them, and I'm like, hey, can I interview you? And I love talking with people. I love learning new things. I love connecting with people. And so I get to learn all those things and then share them with people on my podcast. And then my YouTube is just where I get to tell stories. And these are good things for, I don't know. I just did one on like things that I'll do differently with baby number two and all of
Ooh,
that. So
what are you gonna do differently with baby number two?
honestly, yeah, I don't know. I'm now that I'm out of the breastfeeding thing, I was like, we are doing a bottle for sure because Leah never took a bottle, and that was like so
Makes it
difficult
harder.
for me.
It
Oh
makes
my
you can't leave. You're
gosh,
basically trapped.
yes, that's exactly what it is. But now I'm like, but then I had a friend come over with a bottle, and I was like, so you had to pump that milk and then store it and then bring it over here and then you have to wash that bottle, like
Like some
that's
effort. There is a little effort, but
yeah,
you get a little bit of freedom.
yeah, more than a 3 hour break. Yeah, that's great.
Worth trying.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of the main ones. But I still think we're going to do the floor bed and the co-sleeping. And there's a lot of stuff that we'll do. Oh, the purple push. That's kind of a weird one. But like I did hypnobirthing during my labor. So I like listened to this meditation. They say it's not meditation, it's hypnosis, whatever. But at the end, they're like, okay, push, push, push. And this book, Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, is like
Yeah,
my Bible for labor.
I love that book.
Oh, it's every pregnant person to read that, regardless if you want an epidural C-section, just read. So, but they say that the uterus does 90% of the job. And in my video, I'm like, if any of us have significant others, men specifically, who take 45 minutes to poop, you could probably talk to them about this because they don't think that you should push. You just kind of wait for it to come and then you just assist. And that's how you should labor. So you just wait for that baby to come down
Yep.
and then you let your uterus do 90% and then you just do a little push. If you're straining and you're getting the purple face, purple push, you're doing too much work. Just let that
Totally. And you
baby
can
work
massively hurt
down.
yourself. Like I just went through a bunch of pelvic floor therapy over the last 2 years.
Good for you.
Oh, it was nobody told me I should do it. And you really
Right.
should if you're listening. Like you should literally do it after every baby. You just should. I did it after baby 5. And like luckily I didn't have any massive damage, but I definitely had pain during sex. And it was
Oh,
just so bad that I didn't even want to have it. And my
oh.
prior to the reason we got divorced right now. But I definitely had some like they do internal massage, they do all this stuff, and then you figure out how to like engage the transverse abdominal, all this stuff to just get back to as much normal as possible. You guys definitely check out pelvic floor therapy. And
Yes.
the person who does it in person will go inside and do all the work and like loosen up those muscles. But like you can massively hurt yourself from pushing.
Yeah.
I pushed for 4 hours with my first baby. You guys, it was 17-hour labor. I had contractions like every 90 seconds or every 60 seconds. It was terrible.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
had midwives just like managing everything, and bless them. I love them, but they were way too
Involved.
much, too
Yeah.
involved. And then I had almost unassisted birth, 4-hour labor. Then I had an unassisted birth, 75 minutes, amazing, easy, like what you just described. I felt his head going all the way down, and I just had my hand inside the whole time at the end, and it was just like very, my
Wild.
body did it.
Yeah.
The next one, I had a 4-hour labor. I didn't know how to pop my own water, so I just went in and 30 minutes popped out a baby, you know.
Wow.
Y'all let me save my placenta, the 2 hospital births. And then my 5th labor it was unassisted. And I had finished the manuscript for my unassisted birth book right before Twyla was born. So that one was, I literally put in her baby blanket to the wash. And when it came out of the dryer, she was there.
Oh my gosh.
And that was, I birthed into my super deep, awesome tub that I got for birthing. Like a
Wow.
tub in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And I birthed her into that. And I literally, I did push, but I pushed when my body said, do
No.
it.
Yeah.
And I finally had that experience. Oh, Shayla, let me tell you, it was like a dream. It was like, it wasn't painful. It was just like totally in alignment with how we were built to do it.
Right. Yeah.
I want to send you that book too.
Okay.
It's Brave New Birth. It just came out, and I just wrote it because I wanted a manual for myself.
Yes.
And I figured out how to dilate quickly and how to make it just like super smooth.
Yeah.
And it can be used for not unassisted birth. It can be used for hospital births, whatever. But it's so important to just like step aside and disassociate a little bit, but also like, I'm here when my body needs me.
Yep. Yeah.
Tell me what to do.
And that's what Ina May, she's like, people have given birth in comas because your body just does it. And so you kind of have to just get out of your own head because it's the fear. Really.
It's the fear. Fear
it's
makes
the
tension. Tension makes pain.
Yes. But the fear, it's like it puts you in fight or flight. So your cervix goes, it's not safe to do this here. But your uterus is like, it's go time.
Okay, now I'm going to
Pain.
relate this to EC. When you put your baby on the potty and you leave the room and they have privacy, sometimes when they cry and cry in the potty, you just leave the room and they'll actually go when you're gone because they're not being watched.
Yeah.
And somebody I studied for my birth book a lot was Michelle Odont, and he wrote this book on birth and breastfeeding. And he is such a champion of like, this is the way you're made and this is normal. But the number one thing you need is privacy. So put a towel over your face if you need to, so nobody can see you, and your cervix will open up so fast.
Wild. Well, that's what she said. She's like, imagine somebody putting a bowl in the middle of a room of people and saying, poop in the bowl.
Poop in that. Or
You can't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Aaliyah, she takes the curtain and she covers her head. She's in the bathroom. But she'll also be like,
kids did that too.
Yeah, she'll be like, Dad, come sit down. Come sit down. And then it's like a little party in the bathroom, like with all of us. So she goes between like, but I will.
Giving birth, you might want company in one moment. And then the next moment,
yeah.
Like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. My poor husband. He was actually like, I got to give it to him. He was great during birth. He was totally in service during birth.
That's good.
Yeah. But like, it took us 5 labors to really get it. Really get it. Now I'm like, I want another baby, but I don't have a husband. Shoot.
Yeah. Do I need? Stop.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so are you gonna have more after this baby? That's my last question for you.
I don't think so. I think, well, because we were between 2 and 3 and we just went on a trip because we're travelers. We like to travel and go places. Yeah. And we bought a tank of a car seat. Like this car seat weighs 80 pounds or something. So Seth is carrying the car seat. I'm carrying the baby. I'm carrying all the things. So we're just going on like a weekend trip to Arizona. And Seth is like, we're stopping it. I'm getting a vasectomy after 2. And I was like, this is a conversation, first of all. You don't just get to get a vasectomy. Like, he's like, no. And the first trimester, I was insanely emotional, like sobbing myself to sleep because, I don't know, life was overwhelming. I couldn't really pinpoint it. Right. Hormones are, yeah. And so he's like, I don't think we should do another pregnancy. I don't think we should do another. And I'm like, well, maybe, because then we can, my mom, there's 2 of us. She's like, your dad grabbed one hand, I grab one hand, and we could just go. Yeah. And so 3 feels very familial to me, even though I only had 2 growing up. But 2 feels manageable. And like,
yeah. Well, I will tell you something I know a lot of moms who have 12 babies, 10 babies, 8 babies. They're all in the homeschooling community out here, like massive baby makers.
Yeah.
They all say, and I would have to agree, that the fourth is the easiest. So number one, you're just like, whoa,
Yeah.
the brakes on my life. Who am I? Number two is like, okay, I'm a little overwhelmed, but at least I can give you one and I can have the other one. We can do this, but it's crazy. Three is like, oh my gosh, we're outnumbered.
Yeah.
And it's nuts. And then by the fourth one, because they're not all the same age, you're just like, oh, another pretty face.
Acceptance.
Oh, another pretty face. Oh, I actually know what I'm doing now. And they're older, so they kind of take care of the younger ones too.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then you have like this brood, and it is chaos sometimes, and sometimes it's just like the most beautiful. Last year around the Christmas tree, I walk in and they're all singing "Oh Christmas Tree," holding hands,
What?
like spontaneously around it. I'm like,
What?
oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. What is my life right now? That's insane.
And
I believe that. And I've heard after.
I have earplugs. They're called loops, and I definitely put them in because it's a lot of input for me, and I'm very
Yeah.
sensitive.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you're gonna go for a big family, go for 4 or more, and if you're not, 2 is perfect.
Right.
Oh
Don't
man,
stop at the overwhelm. Don't
3
stop at
is
that number.
oh, don't stop at 3. Oh man, just don't do it.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So it's still up in the air, but we're thinking 2 for now, which is weird, I guess. But
Well, leave the door open. Tell them not to get cut. Come on, just in
I
case.
know.
It
I
can't
know.
be reversed.
Don't worry. I'll track it naturally.
Right.
It'll be fine.
That works so well. I will tell you, and I want
Fine.
everybody listening to know this. There is an app called My Days, and it's awesome. It tracks everything for you. And if you're trying to get pregnant, I got pregnant instantly 3 times with this. So it has a mapping of your temperature, and you do a
Mm.
basal thermometer in your anus every morning before you get out of bed. And
Or
then
in your mouth. You can do it in your mouth.
it's more accurate in the anus.
Come on. I did it in the mouth.
Well, some husbands will be excited that it's not.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. Okay. Let me start over. I'm not editing this, by the way. I never do.
I don't think you should.
So you do that way, and you get this really specific, like 2 decimal points of a temperature, and then you
Mm-hmm.
put it into the app. And when it spikes, you're supposed to have sex and you'll have a baby. Now, if you're trying not to have a baby, sperm can live in your body for 5 days. So guess what? You're not going to be able to do it accurately. It's going to be
Yeah.
really hard. But this
Yeah.
app does show like this faded out, like these are the times when you can get pregnant, and it's 5 days before your ovulation. So anyway, for anybody listening who needs help getting pregnant or not, that could be a way to go. And you're just super fertile, so watch out.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I was doing the basal body too. And then there's like cervical
Fluid,
yep.
viscosity and ferning, and then there's a little what's it called? It's not a fernoscope. It's called a ovulens.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
you look through it, you put your fluid on it, and you look out a window,
What?
and you can see if it makes a fern design, that means you are ovulating.
What? I've never
But
heard of
again,
that.
but again, it's not 5 days like
Right.
you can't
I
have
know.
it
That's the
time.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway. But I can't wait to follow your story and everybody else. You
Good
guys,
transition.
I know, right? On that note, can't wait to see what happens. And I'm going to be on Shayla's podcast soon as well.
Yes.
So we will be talking all about EC from me.
Yes.
He's going to interview me. So I can't wait till you do that. And we're going to have fun. That's like,
I'm so excited.
I don't know. In the time you hear this, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I will put that in the show notes. I'll put links to all of Shayla's stuff in the show notes as well. And you guys can also get my free Easy Start Guide, which is a little gateway in if you're curious. And then my book is what Shayla got when she became serious. So Curious, Easy Start Guide. Serious, book. That's the next step. And then Tiny Undies has like everything, as you can vouch for, that you could possibly need for pottying your baby. So check us all out there. Shayla, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.